Jeff Jarvis, author of What Would Google Do? Jeff, what would Google do in the social space? It seems as if they're falling behind. Do they get the Facebook era?
I'm not sure they do. I've long said that I think there's three wars that Google hasn't won, which is live web, social web, and local web. Local is going to be all about mobile, I think, and mobile is going to become a meaningless word because you're just going to be connected ubiquitously and constantly, and it won't matter whether you're mobile or connected or whatever. That will also come to mean social, I think. So Google has another chance to get into social, to go beyond the Facebook, to figure out what local connectivity could be. But they kind of blew that too because they brought Dodgeball in and didn't work. And Eric Schmidt was asked about it this week and had to kind of hem and haw because Dodgeball is now Foursquare. I think the problem with Google is that they have grown very big and they haven't been able to succeed very well at introducing new things. Wave folded, Buzz doesn't work, Orkut only works in 2 countries around the world. So Google hasn't figured out social yet. The opportunity for Google, I think, we've talked about this with Leo Laporte and Gina Trapani on This Week in Google, and their idea, which I like quite a bit, is that it might focus around the Google profile page. That Facebook is really about creating small, closed, private publics. You know, my little society people I'm talking to. But when Facebook got in trouble, it's when it tried to make us publish to the whole world. Because that's not how we use it. Google is about the whole world of knowledge. Google has a profile page. How could Google make your profile page your canonical page of your online identity? I think there's a big opportunity there. I have no idea what Google's planning in social, and they are reportedly planning a lot.
Why does Google struggle with the concept of social? Is it foreign to them, do you think?
Well, I think part of it is that they know algorithms more than people, yeah. When they tested Buzz, they tested it in their homogeneous inside world, and they didn't face the issues that you face in the real world. I think they're used to helping people do what they do and organizing information. And organizing people is a very different thing. You don't do it to people. You create the platforms that enable them to do it. And so it's a very, very different skill. Now, so is mapping, I guess. Google's good at that. And so is making operating systems. And I think that Android is pretty darn good. And so is Chrome, look to be good. So Google does have other skills. But social's hard. Social's the next frontier. Again, I think their opportunity to get into it should be mobile, but we'll see.
Is Google's struggle a way of undermining your argument? Because in What Would Google Do, you use the premises of Google to suggest that this was the new model of operating business. But if Google can't keep up with innovation, who can?
Yeah, Google's not perfect, and it was never really a book about Google. It was a book about constant change and trying to stay on top of that change and trying to understand what it means, because I think we're going through something much more than a mere technology revolution. We're going through a change as big as Gutenberg's. We're going through something that I think is going to change society in ways we can't guess yet, post-industrial, into something very big. And the one company so far that's figured it out better than any other is still Google. But Google's not perfect. They're the first to say it. That's why they release betas. In fact, Buzz should have been a beta, and they know that. I think that Google can come around. I wrote a post this week that I was concerned about them. There were reports that Google was making a deal with Verizon. I'm not so sure how reliable those New York Times reports are now. After the furor, I don't think it would come to pass anyway. But I was worried about that. Google has stood for net neutrality. They do ask what is evil, and I think that itself is an advance. But the failure to create winning platforms in Buzz, Knoll, Wave, and Orkut indicates, I think, a problem with right hand, left hand. It's a big company, and they know that. But I also think it's a problem of having too much money. What occurs to me is that in a beta culture with entrepreneurs, you release betas because you have to, because you can't afford mistakes. So you better find out as soon as you can what the product really is. Whereas I think at Google, when a company that big, or Yahoo or AOL, they can throw shit against the wall and see what sticks. But if you keep throwing it, you're going to end up knee-deep in crap. You can afford to just, I don't want to say lazily, but you don't have the discipline that an entrepreneur has to say, I have $10 left. How the hell am I going to figure this out before it's gone?
Whose shit then is sticking on the wall? Which company now gets it? Who is the new Google? In a word, Jeff. I know one words are hard for you.
I don't think there is one yet.